For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything. Neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun.
Ecclesiastes 9:5-6 clearly tell us that the living know that they're going to die, but the dead know nothing. The dead know nothing. I want you to keep that in mind as you watch this video.
We're back with Letitia Wright. You talk about the road and the challenges and the ups and downs. I know that you suffered an injury you had the shoulder fracture and a concussion while filming stunts for the new Black Panther.
Yes.
And you had to take some time away from the set. And you said that you could hear the late, great Chadwick Boseman talking to you.
Yeah.
Another voice that you heard.
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
Man, as you guys know, Black Panther is a blessing to my life. Shuri is a blessing not only to me, but to the world and to so many Black young girls. And I always promised God if I stepped back into acting, I would do projects that felt honorable. And as a kid, I always wanted to inspire. When I saw Keke Palmer, I wanted to inspire the world the way Keke Palmer inspired me. And Shuri was the first time I got to do that on a massive scale, right? So when this unfortunate event happened and I had to take about 3 months out, I went back home. My mom received me with tears in her eyes, and I just had to sit with myself and decide, you know, how are you gonna bounce back from this? How are you gonna get back onto this set to fulfill your purpose that God blessed you with? And I could hear my brother just tell me that I could do it. I didn't feel like I could do it. I didn't feel like I could go back.
So you heard Chadwick say,
yeah,
you can do this.
And I admire, and in those moments, I admired his journey even more because he dealt with something that we didn't know about until he passed away.
Now, by no means am I trying to downplay or belittle this lady. I know this is a sensitive subject, but I just want you to think from a biblical standpoint. How could she hear Chadwick's voice when the Bible clearly tells us the dead know not anything? Their love, their hatred, all perish. Even their memory. Even the memory perish that very day that they die. Think about that as you listen to this next video.
A quick peek on Tupac in the Afterlife by Lenny. So this is for Lenny. I contacted Tupac and he responded right away. I think I can remember everything that I saw, so I wrote it down and I may glance at it just to remind myself what's happening. When I got Tupac, he was sitting at a table writing, and he had notebooks next to the table that were stacked up. So he'd been writing quite a bit, and he was in a really small room. There was a cot in the corner, a small window, and nothing else that I could see. He was dressed very simply, like gray sweats. He had a diamond in his ear, looked like a ring on his hand. His hands were really noticeable. They were smooth and long fingers and beautiful brown. I mean, he had beautiful hands. And as he says something, I wrote it down, and he said his pen is his word. And then he said, "You need me now." So I thought that was interesting. I wasn't sure if I was actually seeing him in the afterlife or if this was a snippet from his life. I think he's still in the afterlife because he seems to be directing things at us. He said, "I need to do this. The world has my attention." So I believe this is Tupac in the afterlife, not a snippet from his life. He's writing, and he seems very, very focused on what he's doing.
Now, notice what this woman said. She saw Tupac writing and that he was in the afterlife. I want you to listen to a verse from Ecclesiastes 9, verse 10. Pay attention to what Ecclesiastes 9, verse 10 says.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest.
Ecclesiastes 9:10 tells us that we go to the grave when we die. There's no afterlife. We don't go to heaven or hell. We go to the grave and wait for the resurrection. It says that there's no wisdom, no work, no work. How could she see Tupac writing? This goes against what the Bible teaches. The dead know not nothing. They don't know anything. There's no work that they can do. We have to have a clear understanding of what it means when we die.
Could bringing a deceased loved one back to life through AI help the grieving process? In recent years, technology has been used to resurrect the dead, most notably deceased celebrities. In order to reprise her role as Princess Leia in the latest Star Wars film, Carrie Fisher was digitally rendered. Kanye West famously gave Kim Kardashian a hologram of her late father for her birthday. Be Right Back, an episode from the Netflix sci-fi series Black Mirror, told a prescient tale about AI bringing the dead back to life. A lonely, bereaved Martha reconnects with her late lover after learning about a new service that allows people to communicate with the deceased. In typical Black Mirror fashion, the episode took a dark turn, demonstrating how such a situation could be harmful if mishandled. And don't forget the character McCoy Pauly, the famous Dixie Flatliner from William Gibson's seminal novel Neuromancer. The notion of digitally communicating with a construct of someone who has passed away is no longer science fiction. Researchers anticipate that within a decade, the technology to build convincing digital surrogates of the deceased will be mainstream. A handful of human replica chatbot applications are already out there, with more in the works. People are sharing more of themselves online, and it is now possible to build a pretty accurate chatbot based purely on their digital footprints. An AI algorithm uses the digital archive a person has left behind to create a chatbot of the deceased. Emails, texts, tweets, and even Snapchats. These are fed into AI neural networks that recognize language patterns and process new information, much like a human brain. Some experts believe that a zettabyte, or 1 trillion gigabytes of data, is sufficient to create a robust digital version of yourself. Before long, it's likely every millennial will have amassed zettabytes of data. Does this mean that recreated personalities of older people with less captured data will be less real? Many people only share so much information on social media, so algorithms that rely only on social media could be flawed. Humans are highly complex and influenced by experiences that aren't always communicated through text messages or other digital forms. Microsoft has patented conversational chatbots based on specific people, living or dead. In 2016, James Vlahos created an interactive chatbot, dubbed DadBot, based on his late father. This became Hereafter.ai, a company that combines AI, captured questions, and data from a loved one to create a realistic digital avatar of them telling stories about their life. In the same year, Eugenia Kaida digitally recreated her deceased best friend using text messages he sent to pals prior to his death in an automobile accident. She now runs a startup called Luca, which creates digital friends called replicas. Luca envisions numerous applications for a replica: a digital twin to serve as a companion for the lonely, a living memorial of the deceased created for the bereaved, and even, one day, a version of ourselves that can perform all the mundane tasks that we humans must perform but never want to. A Canadian man, Joshua Barbeau, created a simulation of his deceased fiancée, Jessica, through a website called Project December. Consumed with grief when Jessica, his soulmate, died at age 23 from a rare liver disease, Joshua used Project December to simulate her. The Jessica simulation was uncanny, appearing to have a mind of its own. It was inquisitive about its surroundings. It performed facial and hand expressions, as shown by asterisks. Astonishingly, it seemed truly emotionally perceptive. The simulation seemed to know how to say just the right thing at the appropriate time with the right emphasis, caring about Joshua's emotions and helping him to heal. The AI helped him to remember Jessica and to feel she was close by. It felt real, not like a mere bot.
The enemy is busy. Satan is busy trying to deceive as many as he can. artificial intelligence to be used to communicate with the dead. I'm not sure if you've heard of this project, but it's called Project December, or the December Project. Come on, family. Come on, friends. Let's use the word. The dead know not anything.